The story from Oklahoma, a woman and her daughters, her minor daughters, asleep in their home.
You already talked about
No,
that.
I didn't. It was another. That's the thing.
This is another mother with 2 kids?
Well, the first mother had 3 kids. I'm glad you're so interested.
Oh.
But yes, this is multiple families being devastated by ICE, but this one is American, and that's why it matters.
Just so we're clear, all of these immigration cases should matter to you. But Jessica Tarlov's point still stands. If federal agents feel free to do whatever they want to people suspected of being undocumented, it's only a matter of time before U.S. citizens get targeted too. And now that's happened. Because when the system is built on fear, cruelty, profiling, it never stops at the margins. Tarlov's warning, not a hypothetical. This is proof.
ICE came into the house. There had been people, immigrants who had lived there, and they moved out a few weeks earlier. This family had just moved in. They came in, they made them go outside, including the girls were taken outside in their underwear. They took their money and their electronics. This is an American family. Right. If that happened to
no one even believes your stories
anymore.
And
you know what? They rectified
it. Always fall apart.
And by the way, let me tell you. Let me tell you what else.
What about the Maryland dad? Whatever happened to him?
That didn't fall apart. He's still in
He's
some
MS-13, Jessica.
He's not.
And there are 2 orders of deportation on him.
Tarlov's visceral frustration with Jesse Waters, Judge Janine, is a perfect reflection of how exhausting it is to debate anyone embedded in MAGA. She's sitting there trying to walk them through real consequences. Meanwhile, Waters is laughing and Piro's pretending not to hear it. How do you reason with people who deny reality on purpose? Their job isn't to inform, it's to keep the base distracted and angry. And in the face of state violence against innocent Americans, they act like it's all just noise.
And he lied about being afraid to go back to El Salvador because he had to admit he was an MS-13 gang member.
Keep going back to one person that you think you have a case about. If someone dragged you out of your house in the middle of the night, you would kill somebody.
Let me tell you something.
You know, the Oklahoma case she mentioned, it's horrifying. 20 armed agents busted down the door of a U.S. citizen's home in the middle of the night, looking for people who didn't even live there anymore. A mother and her daughters had their phones, laptops, life savings taken. They were dragged outside in the rain, barely clothed, treated like criminals. The mother pleaded with agents, we're citizens, but the damage was already done. So when people say they support law and order, ask them, whose law, whose order?
He just motivates us, you know, because he wants common sense. And the people need to quit worrying about a freaking party. No more Republican Party because they're corrupt. Why are some of our Republican Party people saying they don't want the tariffs? Right. The tariffs are sent out for them to show who's who in the zoo. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because there's corrupt Republicans, there's corrupt Democrats. You see what I'm saying?
Case in point, this Trumper genuinely believes there's a secret master plan behind every move Republican officials make. He just motivates us, he says. Never mind the facts, the cruelty, or the outcomes. Trump's power over them isn't logical. It's loyalty at all costs. What I call loyalty, okay? He wants to reopen Alcatraz. Yes, Alcatraz. What bugs me most, they're not even pretending it's about safety. It's just the next authoritarian fantasy for a base that craves punishment over policy.
Where did you get the idea for reopening Alcatraz?
Just an idea I've had, and I guess because the judges, so many of these radicalized judges, they want to have trials for every single, think of it, every single person that's in our country illegally, that came in illegally, that would mean millions of trials, and it's just so ridiculous what's happening. And it's long been a symbol, Alcatraz, of whatever it is. I mean, you know, it's a sad symbol, but it's a symbol of law and order. And, you know, it's got quite a history, frankly. So I think we're going to do that, and we're looking at it right now.
After Trump threw out the Alcatraz line, his loyalists jumped to amplify it like it was a real proposal. And the comments, chilling. They're not just entertaining the idea, they're excited about it. These are sitting members of Congress and political advisors treating incarceration as campaign theater. And while they cosplay as tough on crime, our real issues like prison reform, wrongful detention, and immigrant abuse gets pushed aside for applause lines and merch drops.
Our country, Dana, was founded on innovation and out-of-the-box ideas, and I think that this is a great idea from President Trump. He also mentioned in that post that this is symbolism, just like Guantanamo Bay. Historically, Alcatraz was used to house the worst of the worst, and that's exactly what we're doing at Guantanamo Bay and could potentially do at Alcatraz as well.
I'm all about it. Let's have it Riker and let's have Alcatraz both open. So we've got the East Coast and the West Coast both covered, and put our most notorious criminals in both of them. So people understand we're a nation of laws again, unlike what we had underneath Biden. So I'm all about it. And when we want to start talking about criminals being punished, I don't believe in keeping them comfortable. I want them to regret the crime that they have committed.
Alcatraz means something, right? And so when you have a law and order president, you're dealing with two tracks here. One is punishment. People ought to be punished for the crimes they've committed. And also deterrence. He's saying we need more space, and there ought to be a space dedicated for the people who are the worst among us who've come here illegally and have committed crimes. And so it's all sort of working in one direction here. And I think President Trump is very smart to put this out there and actually have a place where the worst of the worst go in our country.
You've got people like Tricia McLaughlin and Senator Mark Wayne Mullen nodding along. Eric Schmidt does not just support it, he escalates it, suggesting we return to the good old days of locking people up to send a message. They're doubling down across the board with sound bites meant to go viral in far-right echo chambers. But what they're really showing us, they have zero interest in helping real people, none. They're not solving crime, they're staging a rerun of America's worst instincts.
It represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz, the movies just represented something strong having to do with law and order. We need law and order in this country. We'll see if we can bring it back in large form, add a lot. But I think it represents something. Right now it's a big hulk that's sitting there rusting and rotting.
So let's be honest, our prison system is already broken, overcrowded, racist, cruel. What Trump and his loyalists are pushing, it's not reform, it's not safety, it's fear-mongering, and punishment is politics. And if they get their way, the trauma that's already happening to black families, immigrants, marginalized people will become the norm. That's the end game, not law and order, not justice, just power, and of course, pain.